epic event. So great so far. I hope you guys are enjoying this evening and your meal. My name is Tania Browning, and I am the City Councilor for the City of Central Point and your 2022 President of the League of Oregon Cities Board of Directors. I'm really going to try and stay on script because that has been what I've been told to do, but it might get fun and I might not. But you don't know when that's going to happen. So welcome to tonight's awards dinner, which is our opportunity to recognize excellence in our cities, as well as exceptional leadership in civic engagement and city officials across this great state. To begin tonight's program, I have several people I would like to recognize first. I want to offer a special thanks to our host this year, the City of Bend and our surrounding cities. Thank you. It's in Central Oregon. To our local elected officials, appointed officials here tonight, thank you. And please thank your colleagues back home as well. We want to make sure everyone knows this couldn't be done without everyone working together. So thank you. Give our hosts, obviously, a big round of applause as well for the LOC conference. Thank you all for making it. Woo, we already clapped. All right, now it's my pleasure to introduce some of our distinguished guests and dedicated city officials providing leadership to the League of Oregon Cities, my fellow members of the LOC Board of Directors, as well as past presidents and boards. Their pictures should be on the screen. Several of us are here tonight. Would you please stand to be recognized? And don't worry, I won't point. There we go. If you have questions, you want to get involved, you want to learn more about what the League does, chat with these folks. It's really a great way to give back. Up next, we would like to recognize the members of our planning committee for this year's conference. Their names are now being shown on the screen. They are the ones who put this in place. They've helped select, thank you so much. They have done an excellent job. They have planned this conference along with our members for this year and really helped in that process. It is definitely a labor of love. Okay, the arrow's right there. So this group worked hard to ensure. Thank you. Okay, let's take a moment and thank everyone who works for this facility, including all of our contracts. I mean, we couldn't do any of this without the music, without the food, the City of Bend. I mean, I went out last night and there were a lot of folks enjoying what Bend had to offer downtown. So everyone that's supporting this. Okay, find the arrow again. And had specifically taken home, and also take home information to your colleagues. A special thanks to you who serve in that capacity. Applause. Okay, this is also, I know, I'm not supposed to read the things in parentheses. Okay, this is also our opportunity to start planning the 2023 LOC conference. If you're interested, redo. The LOC is interested in hearing from you, our members, and what you'd like to hear and learn about at our next conference. If you're interested in serving on the conference planning committee, I encourage you to give your information to any of the LOC staff. Finally, I would like to recognize and thank our interim executive director, Patty Mulvihill. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, from all of our members, thank you. You stepped up at a time when we were really needed, and I appreciate that, and so does our members. As I mentioned earlier, I'm like 4 lines down. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, we had an outstanding, he's going super fast. 2 days so far here. Ben, I hope you have gained a bunch of knowledge and valuable insight through the workshops that you've had, the seminars, our keynote speakers. Yesterday, Eric Kleinenberg, our DEI workshop, our tours, our breakout sessions have all given us our city's tools to go home with and implement. So looking forward to more being offered tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a very full half day. We'll be back for networking. Am I too far off script? Breakfast at 8 a.m., followed by our closing keynote with U.S. Senator Ron Wyden. The level of quality provided by the LOC conference simply would not be possible without the support of these sponsors who contribute to this outstanding program that we offer. Tonight's award dinner is being generously sponsored by CIS, a valued and trusted partner in the LOC and its member cities since 1981. Thank you, CIS. At this time, I would like to introduce the Executive Director, Patrick Priest. Patrick was named the CIS Executive Director in 2018 and has worked in public risk pooling since 1998. Prior to CIS, he served as Assistant Director and longtime Chief Financial Officer at the Colorado Intergovernmental Risk Sharing Agency. He currently serves on the board of National League of Cities Mutual Insurance Company and the Oregon Society for CPAs Group Health Trust and co-chair of the Oregon Workers' Compensation Management Labor Advisory Committee.
Very good.
Excellent. Patrick is a CPA, holds an associate's in risk management for public entities, and is a graduate of the University of Colorado. Please join me in welcoming Patrick Priest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good job. Yeah, you bet. Thank you very much. I was a little bit worried, so I'll do my best here. So thank you, President Browning. It is a pleasure to sponsor tonight's awards dinner. Like LOC, CIS appreciates the work of our dedicated city leaders and is proud to help you recognize the excellence of tonight's award recipients. After a brief CIS update, we even have our own awards to hand out. CIS has been helping cities of all sizes for over 40 years. Together, we've worked for so long, it feels a lot like family. At CIS, we support 98% of cities in Oregon with at least one type of coverage. LOC and the Association of Oregon Counties created CIS back in 1981 because large commercial insurers stopped offering coverage to cities, not just in Oregon, but across the nation. 1981 was a terrible year for cities. One small Eastern Oregon city had to close its doors because their insurance premiums were more than what they took in taxes. Thankfully, LOC and the Association of Oregon Counties responded. It was a good decision, and CIS has served you ever since. Today, your insurance risk pool has no shareholders. The only reason CIS exists is to help you. CIS takes the long view. Our earnings are set aside solely for you. Whether it's wildfires or cyber attacks, CIS's solid net position helps minimize the impact of catastrophic claims and volatile insurance markets. By maintaining and building reserves, CIS can better meet your expectations of stability and security. So we can be there for you in good times and in bad, standing by you during tough times. That's what families do. Regions has stood by CIS as a longtime partner and administrator of our benefits program. Regions has always stood by the League of Oregon Cities, too. This year, Regions stepped up when they learned that some of our smaller cities were unable to attend this important awards dinner because of shrinking budgets. They immediately offered to provide grant funding to help bridge the gap. This evening, staff from 50 small cities who would not normally be available or able to attend this event are here because of the generosity of Regions. Thank you, Regions. Yeah. We appreciate all that you do for cities, their staff, and families to help us all be healthier. Regions is part of the CIS family, and so is Scott Moss. He has worked at CIS for 12 years, but he's been helping Oregon counties and cities since 1987. Many of you know Scott because he's been helping your city. You may have seen him present earlier today on cybersecurity. Over 10 years ago, Scott saw that Oregon cities were going to be exposed to tremendous cyber risks, and CIS became one of the first pooling programs to offer cyber coverage. Today, he's seeing the market change. For-profit insurance companies are raising prices and reducing coverage. Because of this, he was ready when the carrier backing CIS cyber program decided to stop insuring cities in Oregon. We're all seeing that cyber insurance is much harder to get, and it's more expensive. Even at CIS, claims are more frequent. Cities have become targets. So we were disappointed to see other cyber insurers limiting the coverage that you need most. One area being limited is ransomware. It's one of the most common and costly claims. This is when a cyber criminal blocks access to your computer system until money is paid. As he has for years, Scott innovated to overcome the challenges that he saw in the marketplace. He capitalized on CIS's financial strength to bump the amount CIS self-insures from $50,000 to $250,000. But he knew that cities needed more coverage, and he had to find a reinsurance partner to back higher limits. That's when best practices for cybersecurity were integrated into our coverage. This concept appealed to our brokers in London, and we found a cost-effective carrier to back higher limits. Scott has had a long and distinguished career of public service to Oregon. He's been dedicated to sharing his knowledge for years. Some say he's trained a generation of public risk managers. Scott has decided to step back from oversight of CIS's property casualty operations, but we're fortunate that he continues in a part-time role, including oversight of CIS's cyber insurance program. We're also fortunate that he hands over the role of Property Casualty Trust Director to Dave Nelson, who's been working closely with him for years. And both are here today, so thank you for both being there. Thank you for that. They're just wonderful. CIS has distributed safety awards at this conference for many years, and now we're partnering with SAFE. We continue to bring CIS's stellar risk management and return to work team. And our friends at SAFE bring affordable rates. And if you've earned a SAFE dividend in the past, you get to keep it just like before. And it is time to start with the safety awards, but it is blank on my screen here. So I can go to the paper. Tania, now I know what you feel like. So, all right, I'd like to call Ken Woods to the stage. Ken is our CIS board chair and a Dallas city councilor. Thank you, Ken, for coming up here. He's a very dedicated elected official. He is our, please give him a round of applause. He is our longest serving board member and has been a CIS trustee for 16 years. He's also, and there's more. There's more. 16 is nothing. Wait till you hear this. He's also a dedicated public official serving on the Dallas City Council for 40 years. I think a record. I think he's the longest serving. All right. So each safety award goes to a city that's insured by SAFE. And I'm proud to say that all the recipients are part of the CIS servicing group at SAFE. Our first awards are for excellence in best practices. There are 3 categories for small, medium, and large cities. CIS conducts a best practice survey with every member city on a 3-year cycle. The survey includes a series of questions based upon claim trends across our membership and offers risk mitigation techniques. Results are more than just a score. They come with recommendations and information on programs that our team finds helpful. Tonight's winners not only have high scores, they've also shown improvement. Additional consideration is given to the number of recommendations that they implemented, the number of staff completing training courses in the CIS Learning Center, and the reduction in claims. First up is the recipient in the small cities category, defined as those with less than 50 staff. And the award for excellence in best practices goes to the city of Harrisburg. I'd like to call up Councilor Adam Keaton. He's right over here. If you don't mind coming around, or you can step up and walk behind me. There you go. We didn't anticipate you being on that side. So Adam Keaton, to accept their award, the city received a score of 94%. City Administrator Michelle Eldridge and City Recorder Yeah, thank you very much, Adam. And City Recorder Lori Ross have done a fantastic job of spearheading efforts to a successful risk management program. They've worked on several projects for community facilities and parks to improve the safety and security for their community. Congratulations to Harrisburg, and thank you. Next is the Large City Award, which is defined as those with more than 150 staff. And the Excellence for Best Practice Award goes to the City of Albany. All right, I'd like to call to Mayor Adam Johnson II to accept their award. All right, fans of Mayor Johnson, all right. The city also received a score of 94%. Under the leadership of City Manager Peter Trotzen, who's also here, the city has made many improvements, contributing to the safety and health of both city staff and their community. Albany has made investments in safety training and made improvements in their risk management practices. Congratulations to Albany, and thank you. Thank you. Next is the award for a medium-sized city, which has between 50 and 150 staff. And the Excellence in Best Practices Award goes to the City of Kaiser. All right. I'd like to call up Councilor Ronald Herrera to accept their award. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and read because they get 2 awards. Kaiser has demonstrated a long-standing commitment to safety throughout their organization. This award is based on their best practice score of 97%. Well done, Kaiser, and thank you for your commitment to safety and meeting so many of our best practices. But our recognition does not end there. Don't go too far, Councilor Herrera, because Kaiser is also the recipient of another award tonight, the Excellence in Safety Award. So this award is given to the city that has demonstrated a focus on employee safety in the workplace and has proven results. Kaiser's excellence is not just recognized by CIS. In May of 2022, they were certified as part of the Oregon OSHA's Safety and Health Achievement Recognition Program, or SHARP. Yay! Although departments of other city governments have achieved SHARP certification, the City of Kaiser is the first city in Oregon to earn it on a citywide basis. Congratulations, Kaiser, and thank you. And lastly, we present the CIS Innovation Award. This award recognizes creativity in reducing claims and employee injuries. And the CIS Innovation Award goes to the City of Ashland. And I'd like to call up Deputy City Manager Sabrina Cota, who, like me, moved here from Colorado. So that was really nice. I learned that. She sat by me today. This award is given in recognition of their innovative safety inspection program. As many of you already know, Oregon OSHA requires documented safety inspections for your buildings at least quarterly. Yay OSHA, they watch our buildings. Ashland goes above and beyond with their safety inspection reports. Our team sees a lot of these reports and is impressed with how easy Ashland's are to read. There are pictures of the violations and entertaining graphics, which indicate which hazards are fixed and which are repeat violations. They've found a truly creative way to report these violations without making people feel defensive. This encourages all departments to fix their hazards in a timely manner. Congratulations to Ashland, and thank you. And congratulations again to Kaiser, Albany, and Harrisburg, too. You've worked so hard to keep your employees safe. Well done. That concludes the safety awards. Let me turn it back to President Browning to begin the LOC award presentations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Before Patrick and I present the LOC Awards for 2022, we would like to thank the panel of judges who served on the committees that helped select our award winners. And like other years, this was a very difficult year as we had very qualified, very excellent submittals. Special thanks to our panels and judges. Thank you. We'll start our awards presentation with our first city award, the Award for Excellence. This is our opportunity to celebrate and learn from the accomplishments of our members. Show PowerPoint. This year, we received 8 nominees for the Awards for Excellence. Those nominees are the City of Amity for its water meter replacement and utility billing software upgrade, the City of Astoria for its Nordic Heritage Park project, the City of Gresham for its Homeless Services Program, and the City of Lake Oswego for Shop Lake Grove and business support and promotional programs, the City of North Bend for its Library Community Engagement Specialist Project, the City of Prineville for its Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project, the City of Wilsonville for its Bioswale Project, and the City of Woodburn for its COVID-19 response program. This year, the judges decided that there were 2 cities deserving of this award, and will present co-recipients of the award for excellence, one for a large city and one for a small city. The first award goes to the City of Lake Oswego for Shop Lake Grove and business support for promotional program. Before we hear from the presenters, please direct your attention to the video screens and hear more about this amazing project.
Road improvement project, the goal was to transform the area into a welcoming and accessible corridor by reconstructing and widening nearly a mile of undersized arterial roadway. However, a significant challenge had to be overcome, as more than 200 businesses within the busy Lake Grove Commercial District would be directly impacted by this ambitious multi-year project. In response, the city engaged the community early and often and developed a robust Shop Lake Grove promotional program. This included free promotional videos, media articles, and social media campaigns like Who's Who on Boone's Ferry Road, which highlighted a different business each month. In addition, a free monthly raffle offered customers a chance to win $100 gift cards to a participating business of their choice. By promoting the program and highlighting many local businesses, new and old customers were brought into the Lake Grove district, and not a single business had to be closed due to the construction. In fact, a few new businesses opened. Many also revitalized their frontages in conjunction with the street improvements. Congratulations to the City of Lake Oswego, co-recipient of this year's Award for Excellence.
All right, Mayor Joe Buck will be receiving this award. Could you please join us on the prestigious stage for an awkward moment of pictures? I'm just kidding, it's not going to be awkward. And the second award for excellence goes to the City of Prineville for its Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project. Before we hear from the representative, we'll go ahead and watch another video.
Central Oregon, and especially Prineville, are experiencing an unprecedented mega drought. As climate change intensifies water insecurity, Prineville's Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project offers an environmentally sustainable and cost-sensitive solution to mitigate the impacts of drought and support economic development. The storage and recovery system works by injecting and storing treated drinking water in an aquifer during the winter when demand is low and stream flows are higher. Stored water can be recovered for use during the summer when water resources are stressed. The system also adds supply resiliency by providing an underground reservoir for use during a prolonged drought or a production supply interruption. Surface water from Prineville Reservoir is released to negate the impact of developing the injection water, and the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife has partnered with the city to manage these releases. Implemented in 2019, the project is so far exceeding its goals as groundwater levels in the local aquifer increased by 11 feet last year. Congratulations to the City of Prineville, co-recipient of this year's Award for Excellence.
Yes, you may. And the award goes to Prineville, and they're going to speak Steve Uffelman.
And Jason, and our mayor, Jason Beebe. I'm going to take a moment to ask the City of Prineville councilors to please rise, because it's the council that approved all of the efforts that were made. But as council members, we look for outcomes, and we understand outcomes. But the real brains behind putting this project together really goes to our city engineer, Eric Klon, and our city manager, Steve Forrester. So if you two would please rise, we would appreciate that also. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
No, good.
I'd like to thank the league for this award. This is great. This is great for our city. I did want Steve to come up here. I've only been the mayor 2 years. He's served on the council for 30-something years. So he's been an integral part of our city, and I really owe a lot of why I'm in the position I am to him, and for his forward thinking and pushing our staff to constantly think outside the box when we look at projects like this that could better our city. We're in a drought right now, that's pretty well known, and this just puts us well ahead of the game for the future. So I thank those two gentlemen that Steve mentioned, and our staff, or our council, for constantly pushing the staff to do better than we did last year.
All right, now pictures at the end. Oh, no, you're totally perfect. This is great. We're going to mix it up. We're going to do different sides. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Excellent.
Yeah, you bet. Congratulations. I think I'm next.
Are you next?
I'm next.
Okay, let's arm wrestle.
can
No,
do-
you're Patrick. You do it. You win.
My name's up there, so it's me. All right, our second city award is the Helen and Alan Berg Good Governance Award. This award targets city programs or efforts which have the specific purpose of engaging and/or educating citizens. It also recognizes cities for their progressive and innovative approaches to solving problems and operating a city. In 2010, the LOC Board of Directors renamed this award to honor former Corvallis mayors and LOC presidents Helen and Alan Berg, who were both leaders in openness, transparency, and inclusiveness. This year, we received 5 nominations for the Good Governance Award. Those nominees are the City of Chiloquin for the Chiloquin Elementary School Green Schoolyard Project, the City of Salem for its Our Salem project, the City of Seaside for Seaside 101, a podcast on municipal government partnership, the City of Tigard for its Public Safety Advisory Board, and the City of Wilsonville for its Civics Academy. For this award, our judges also decided there were 2 deserving cities, and we will present co-recipients of the Good Governance Award, one to a large city and one to a small city. Our first recipient is my hometown, the City of Tigard, for its Public Safety Advisory Board. Before we hear from a representative from the City of Tigard, please direct your attention to our video screens, and let's hear the story of this outstanding city achievement.
In the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd in 2020, the City of Tigard's elected officials received more than 500 comments from community members, with many calling for the public examination and reassessment of the Tigard Police Department. This outpouring of public input shaped the City Council's discussion of racial justice and city action. Mayor Jason Snyder invited the community to identify and eliminate institutional racism to ensure equity within all city operations and structures and to improve the lived experience of all people of color. Through a co-design process, the Tigard community, the City Council, and the Police Department joined together to identify a community-driven solution for police reform and racial justice. This led to the creation of the Tigard Public Safety Advisory Board. As one of several initiatives in the city's anti-racism action plan, the advisory board is responsible for reviewing the city's public safety practices, having inclusive community conversations about these practices, and making recommendations to City Council. Congratulations to the City of Tigard, co-recipient of the LOC's Good Governance Award.
All right. Here to accept the award for the city is Tigard Mayor Jason Snyder. Will you please come forward? Thank you. Gonna take the big step. All right. Would you like to say something? Yes. We're gonna get this done.
Well, good evening, and I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of the 55,000 Tigard community members. As you heard in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd, our community spoke up loud and clear, I think even you, through more than 500 written and verbal communications over a 3-week period. That level of community feedback and engagement in Tigard was unprecedented. They wanted answers about our current public safety practices, and they wanted to know how we were working to make sure that the Tigard Police Department reflected our community values to be a place where everyone was truly welcome, both in words and in actions. To actually address these concerns, I met with community leaders in Tigard and in the Portland area to listen and learn. What I heard was the importance of a community-based response, not a city-based response, meaning that a mayor or a city councilor or a city manager shouldn't be huddled up in a conference room to figure out a quick solution to decades and centuries of distrust between underrepresented communities and their government. Acting on this call for a community-based response, a 16-member Public Safety Advisory Board was created. We had members from everyone from the president of the Tigard High School Black Student Union, all the way to one of our former municipal court judges, CEO of a nonprofit in the mental health space. And after 72 hours of meetings, the board presented 8 recommendations to our city council, many of which were acted upon immediately. They included replacement of and expansion of our body-worn and dash camera program. When that was recommended, the equipment was over 15 years old and you could barely see things. Creation of a professional standards sergeant in the police department. And in fiscal year 2023-2024, this is a practice I think many of you should think about. We're going to be exploring offering community service as an alternative to court-based fines. The hope is that that will prevent a cycle that community members can find themselves in when they're unable to pay fines, and then the fines compound over time. Our work is not done, but our community feels heard. When we surveyed Public Safety Advisory Board members about their experience, 100% of them believe the police department engaged in constructive and helpful conversation. We don't get 100% support for just about anything in today's world. 92% of them felt like the Public Safety Advisory Board delivered positive results for the community. As we move forward, community voices must remain at the center of all of our actions. Our police chief is creating a chief's advisory panel which will reflect the diversity of our community and help our police department continue viewing their work through an equity lens. and the council will continue to act on the recommendations made by the Public Safety Advisory Board. On behalf of our community, I want to thank you for this award. I also want to thank the Tigard Police Department leadership team, the Tigard Police Officers Association, and the hardworking officers and staff of the Tigard Police Department for joining us on this journey. They trusted us. They weren't always excited about it, but they went with us, and I think they thought the results were phenomenal. I'd welcome the chance to share more about our experience with anyone in the audience tonight that is interested. Our collective actions and voices have the potential to start addressing decades of mistrust between our communities and our governments. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Congratulations. You can go down the steps if you want.
But you don't have to.
All right, the second Good Governance Award. Let's see. The second Good Governance Award goes to the City of Chiloquin for the Chiloquin Elementary School Green Schoolyard Project. Yeah, all right. Before we hear from a representative of the city, let's hear the story of this inspirational city achievement.
The Chiloquin Green Schoolyard Project was a collaborative effort to enhance the accessibility and safety of the Chiloquin Elementary School playground by incorporating adjacent community spaces, including walking paths and gardening space on the school campus. The project overhauled the playground area, adding a covered basketball court, replacing outdated playground equipment, and adding ADA accessibility. The space also incorporated plants and other features that require less water to maintain. The plants will be identified by interpretive signs in English and native Klamath language. To buy the native plants for these areas, Chiloquin Elementary was awarded a National Wildlife Federation grant. The new schoolyard brings much-needed green space to the community and will be open after school hours. More than a dozen local groups, including the Klamath Tribes, the Trust for Public Lands, the City of Chiloquin, the Klamath County School Board, Chiloquin Visions in Progress, and the Ford Family Foundation partnered with local teachers, students, and residents to raise more than $1.4 million for this project. Congratulations to the City of Chiloquin, co-recipient of the LOC's Good Governance Award.
Here to accept the award for the City of Chiloquin is Councilor Robert Cowie. Will you please come forward?
First, I'd like to definitely thank the League of Oregon Cities for recognition of our project. And I have to say that we really need to take a moment and thank the Klamath Tribes. They not only started the project, they were instrumental in seeing it through. You heard how there was over a dozen community organizations that came through. And not only was that, but when we first launched, when we got everybody together and was launching, we had to start meeting on Zooms because COVID hit. So I had to sit through quite a few, trying to listen to people talk with their mics muted. But eventually we got it all discussed. And then as you also heard, over 1.4 million was raised, actually more than what the project originally required. So we were able to actually go back and do a few more things than we originally planned. So it really just shows two things, what the power of coming together can do, and that even small little towns can make big things happen. So thank you guys.
Up next, we will be presenting the first of 3 Exceptional Service Awards. Our first award is the Herman Kirlier Award, which recognizes, sorry, I practiced like 4 times and I knew I was going to be too nervous to say it right. Award which recognizes city employees who has provided exceptional contributions to city government. Between 1933 and 1966, Herman served as both Executive Secretary of the League of Oregon Cities and Director of the University of Oregon's former Bureau of Government Research and Service. SEQ Chapter HR 1 sequence, I think that's okay. Oregon today. The quality of city government in Oregon today is due in part to the success of the Bureau and the high standards set by its founders. Our judges have decided there will be co-recipients of the Herman Curlier Award this year. The first recipient is Peggy Hawker, of City Recorder from the city of Newport. We'll go ahead. Before bringing Peggy up, we would like to share her story with you. So on the video screen.
Rock steady and consistent, reliable and dependable. Peggy Hawker has served the city of Newport for the past 22 years. She's been a municipal clerk for more than 30 years, first in Colorado and then in Oregon. Her council members rave about Peggy's guidance on council procedures, her expertise in government ethics, and her invaluable assistance with the city's beautification and arts activities. A longtime leader for the Oregon Association of Municipal Recorders, Peggy has served as the organization's president, an instructor, and chair of its education committee. She continually provides mentorship to new recorders, and in 2012 was recognized as Oregon's Recorder of the Year. In 2018, the International Institute of Municipal Clerks honored Peggy with the prestigious Quill Award, recognizing clerks who have made significant and exemplary contributions to their communities, their state, and the Institute. Newport leaders say Peggy is invaluable as a resource for sorting through and prioritizing the constant issues facing the city. Sharp and savvy, inclusive and modest, her colleagues describe Peggy as kind and diplomatic to all. They say she approaches a problem by treating it as an opportunity and with a can-do attitude. Congratulations to Peggy Hawker, City of Newport, co-recipient of the Herman Curlier Award.
All right, thank you to the league. Not so thank you to the person who supplied all those photos. I would have to say that now there are two in our family because my husband won the Herman Curlier Award some number of years ago. So I have one too now. And also thank you to the City of Newport and the Oregon Association of Municipal Recorders. Thank you all.
More pictures. Our second recipient, congratulations. Our second recipient of the Herman Curlier Award is Mark Riggles, recently retired city administrator for the city of Rogue River. We have another video.
Mark Riggles embodies everything a city could ask for in an administrator: diligence, commitment, dedication, and unquestionable ethics. These are just a few of his outstanding qualities. Mark started his career with the City of Rogue River as Public Works Director in 1994 and became City Administrator in 2000. He started his career with the City of Rogue River as Public Works Director in 1994, then became City Administrator in 2000. Over 28 years, he has served 9 mayors, 33 city councilors, and countless planning commissioners, budget committee members, staff, and community volunteers. Among his many impressive accomplishments, he oversaw the building of the city's current water and wastewater treatment plants. He was instrumental in the downtown revitalization project that produced the Downtown Plaza Park. He helped guide the completion of the first leg of the Rogue River Greenway, a trail connecting the city south to Gold Hill, and his grand finale, the planning and building of Rooster Park, home to the annual Rooster Crowing Contest, and a gathering place that is integral to Rogue River's community identity, made possible by Mark's unwavering dedication. With a unique set of skills, Mark has been a community fundraiser, a mentor to city officials, and an important voice for small cities in shaping state policy. His focus and compassion have made his city a better place to live, work, and enjoy. Congratulations to Mark Regals, City of Rogue River, co-recipient of the Herman Carley Award.
Well, I can see there's problems brewing in Rogue River. This is the second time since my retirement that people have fibbed about what's going to be taking place. I really do appreciate this award and the recognition. It's been a great ride. It's been a wonderful life. Rogue River's a great community. Met a lot of really good, close friends along the way. And thank you.
Congratulations. Our next Exceptional Service Award this evening is the James C. Richards Memorial Award. And to present this award, I would like to invite to this stage my colleague on the LOC board and your Vice President, Steve Calloway, Mayor of Hillsborough.
Well, thank you, President Browning. The James C. Richards Award was created by the LOC Board of Directors in 1980 in memory of a former city councilor in Bay City who also served as an administrative officer for Tillamook County. The award recognizes exceptional contributions by city officials at the local, state, and federal level in support of the League's intergovernmental relations programs. Now, Mr. Richards' many years of involvement in governmental affairs serve as the model for all elected officials, and they are the standard by which nominees for this award are evaluated. And the winner of this year's James C. Richards Award is Mayor Pete Truax of the City of Forest Grove. And as we bring Pete up to the stage and begin a litany of embarrassments for him, we would like you to, watch the video that we're about to present.
Oh, no.
Mayor Truax has served the city of Forest Grove for 22 years, starting on the Planning Commission, then City Council, and as mayor for the last 13 years. His dedication and insights have helped improve lives in his community and throughout the state. His accomplishments include creating an urban renewal agency, which led to the construction of a downtown multifamily residence, the passage of numerous local option levies, and a new city charter, and perhaps most significant, creation of a mural in Forest Glen Park recognizing the city's history on native land. Mayor Truax has served on numerous regional and state boards and commissions, including as LOC president in 2015. He's been a regular at LOC City Day at the Capitol and the National League of Cities Congressional Cities Conference, and he's advocated for equity and inclusion and practiced them with honesty, humility, and integrity. Across Oregon, Mayor Truax is recognized as a shining example of public service and diplomacy. With his engaging mix of humor and sports metaphors, he's helped ensure that his peers in government work together for the greater good. Congratulations, Mayor Pete Truax, City of Forest Grove, winner of the James C. Richards Award.
So as I begin my remarks, I would also like to acknowledge and ask the Forest Grove contingent to please stand. Thank you all for being here tonight. And a special thank you, Pat, stay standing, to Pete's wife, Pat Truax, who has been with him every step of the way. So Pete's contributions to our country began decades ago in service to our country in Vietnam. And his service to his community continued in education in Forest Grove. And tonight we honor and recognize his legacy of elected service of more than 22 years, which concludes in November. And all of those 22 years included exceptional contributions at the local, regional, state, and national level. Now, Pete brings integrity, wisdom, perspective, and credibility to his roles. He listens more than he talks, so that when he talks, he leads. I didn't write it, I'm just reading. No. But because Pete talks with credibility, because he listens when he talks, he doesn't posture with false equivalencies, straw man arguments, or arguments that distract from the issues at hand. As the president of the league, he listened and learned in order to support the unique needs of our cities throughout our diverse state. And as chair of the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium, which is the 25 mayors in the Portland region, Pete has led us and kept us focused and on task, which is like herding cats, specifically feral cats. And on our Metropolitan Policy Advisory Committee, when meeting with state legislators and federal officials, Pete spoke with efficiency, certainty, and impact. He has been an ambassador for Forest Grove and all that he has done. And he has brought the values of the Grove to solutions that have benefited the state and the region. And Pete always makes sure to keep the guardrails of morality in place as we have policy discussions, political decisions, and debates on issues. So Pete has shared a very important quote to me over the years from Hubert Humphrey, who said, it was once said that the moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, our children, those who are in the twilight of life, our elders, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped. Pete always walked this talk, and it allowed Pete to address the needs of our region and in Forest Grove. And in doing so, it meant that he had the standing to heal his community with the creation of Anna's and Abby's Park, and to respond to social issues with a moral clarity. Let me do that again. So that moral standing allowed him to help heal his community with the creation of Anna and Abby's Park and respond to societal issues with a moral clarity. So Pete, your ability to help us come together showed us that the most important work of intergovernmental relations comes from the word relations. All right, Pete can also be irreverent. Thank you. I was looking for this. Pete can also be irreverent and bringing humor at just the right time to lighten the mood or drive home a point. And I am going to ask what socks you're wearing tonight. All right, those are tame, because more than one meeting, when we're sitting together, he'll cross his leg and kind of hitch up his pants, and you'll see the socks he's wearing say, "This meeting is BS." So... I'm just glad he's wearing long pants. All right. Now, Pete and I share a love of baseball. And Pete loves the Dodgers. And there is, okay, that was not an applause line. But there is one baseball player that we all admire and deeply respect, and that's Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier. And Jackie Robinson said, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." Pete, you are important because you have had a deep and profound impact on all of our lives. And thank you. You are absolutely a treasure. You are the original Mayor Pete, which means that which means that for the rest of it means there will never be another. And all we can hope to do is frankly just repeat the impact. Right? I'm done now, sir. Thank you.
Do we go do the pictures now, or do I have to talk?
You don't have to talk, but if you
Don't
want
worry,
to.
we
Okay.
want to hear you talk.
Have at it.
So, in the words of the late Vin Scully, play-by-play announcer for the Los Angeles Dodgers, pull up a chair. First, I'd like to thank those who saw in me some sort of spark of public service. They would elect me to a position of leadership, whether it was in Forest Grove some 2 decades ago, or 7 years ago with the League of Oregon Cities allowing me to assume presidency of this organization, following in the footsteps of such people as Phil Houck and George Endicott. And they would also honor me with a myriad of other positions of leadership, and Steve has mentioned those, chair of the Metro's Policy Advisory Commission or the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium. And as you well know by now, I am not seeking re-election as Forest Grove mayor, and I'm leaving my formal public service after 45 years either as a teacher or a city councilor or mayor. Introducing the table of my guests, first of all, my brother-in-law, Pete York, and his lovely wife, Merlene. They came all the way from Lake Oswego. And I am most appreciative. My sister, Betsy, my much older sister, Betsy. Oh, hecklers in the audience. She comes all the way from Mount Vernon, Washington. Our city manager, Jesse Vander Zanden, who makes me and my colleagues on council look very good. Bev Mon, our former executive assistant to the city manager, more on her later. My oldest son, James, couldn't make it tonight as he is busy teaching in Las Vegas, Nevada, so his younger and more handsome brother, John, is here tonight. And my wife, Pat, and more on her later. And with us is our city recorder, Anna Ruggles, who politely reminds me of proper procedure during council meetings, such as when I call the roll for the vote, she says, you might want to get a motion for that first. Or you might want to hold a public hearing on that. My colleagues on the Forest Grove are first on the list of people I'd like to thank. Richard Kidd was my predecessor, and he led by example. Fellow councilors here tonight include Council President Melinda Wenzel and her husband Nathan Morelli, Councilor Tim Rippey, and Councilor Christy Kotke. They unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, our councilors Mariana Valenzuela, Donna Gustafson, and Elena Ewing. Some of the people who worked on this council, plus an earlier member, Val Valfrey, worked hard to do good for the city. One of the landmark decisions they made was the unanimous support of a mural declaring that we, all of us, are on native land. Qualifying that statement as city speech, citing it as an example of public art, was to me one of the most important things we did in my last term. It put our council squarely on record as supporting our indigenous population, our indigenous history, and was a major step in our effort to instill a better sense of diversity, equity, and inclusion in Forest Grove. There are former councilors who I will always remember, especially Tom Johnston and Ron Thompson, both of whom tragically died in office. I want to remember the late Camille Miller also, who championed all things Forest Grove, She also left us way too early. Note about TJ, he and I had more than a few conversations about the role of local government, especially in light of his prior service as a Forest Grove police officer and before that as a firefighter. Like many of us, TJ prided himself in having all the answers. But he did find a way to meet and talk with those of us who felt there might be other options. As one of those who occasionally found himself on the other side, it was refreshing and not a little enlightening to engage in those discussions. It wasn't a case of win some, lose some, as much as it was a process by which we both got to yes with a solution that was good for each of us, but more importantly, good for the people of Forest Grove. It was my great honor to deliver the eulogy at Tom's funeral, in which I, among other things, alluded to his love of the orange and black, and his belief that the Oregon State Beavers didn't so much lose a football game as they ran out of time. I did get in one last dig at him when I did say that wasn't the case all the time. There were games that Oregon State lost in football, and the only thing that would have happened in the game, if the game had gone on, was that the score would have been even worse. Well, again, some more hecklers. Okay, I've had the distinct honor of working with two outstanding public servants as city managers in the Grove. Mike Sykes, a previous winner of the Carey Award, was a city manager from 2005 through 2014, when he resigned to take a similar role in Scappoose, his hometown. Mike refreshed a city hall that had some toxic issues and built a place where people wanted to come to work and wanted to participate in guiding the city forward. That spirit has been ably continued and built upon by Jesse Vanderzanden, our current city manager, who's a native of Washington County, and when he first came on board, I took him around to introduce him to all the people in Forest Grove, and he knew 90% of them. One particular issue, I said, I want you to meet our state representative, Susan McLean. And he says, oh, I took speech from her at Glencoe High School. I did mention that, as I said before, Bev Maughan's official title was Executive Assistant to the City Manager, but her duties consisted of managing my calendar to the point where she would chastise me severely if I made changes to it or added appointments without checking with her. She, Mike, and Jesse all made Forest Grove a better place. And while she wasn't a city manager, she did have a sweatshirt that said, quote, "She who must be obeyed." I ignored that simple sentence at my own peril. Around the state, I have grown to know, respect, and dare I say it, even love a number of people who have put the well-being of their communities or their state or their country above their own personal needs. Our senators, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, have developed a tag team format in the Senate that truly benefits the state of Oregon. Our House delegation, people such as Suzanne Bonamici, Earl Blumenauer, and Peter DeFazio have moved the needle substantially in Oregon's interests. And I would be remiss if I didn't pause and comment for former Congressman Greg Walden, who, while I may not have agreed with him often, still took time to meet with me and explain with that Eastern Oregon courtesy why he and I disagreed. I do want to pause here and mention a former congressman whose career in Washington began in the Watergate era and stretched into the 90s. That is Les Aucoin, who in his years in the House left a mark dealing with forest management, controls on nuclear weapons, and tough-minded diplomacy with the then Soviet Union, and also helped our indigenous populations in Oregon reach tribal recognition. On a personal note, he helped a returning vet from Vietnam navigate the murky waters of public entitlements that enabled me to afford a graduate education that led me to that aforementioned career in teaching. To those in the cities of Oregon and the LOC, I say thank you. To the late Jim Fairchild of Dallas, who taught me that it was all right to let others take credit. to Denny Ross of Maupin, whose twinkle in his eye allowed the rest of us in the room to see and understand his vision for the league in a whole new light. They are two who left us way too soon, but I am glad I got to know them. I'm glad I had the opportunity to walk with them. Phil Houck is still around, and I'll always remember him for Letter Buck and for a commitment to public art in the city of Pendleton. To George Endicott of Redmond, I would like to think that my deep affection for George has weathered the occasional storms that we found ourselves on the opposite sides of the fence. I like to think that we both would look at that fence for holes in it so we could find some sort of agreement down the road. John McCardle and John Oberst, the twin giants of the Mid-Willamette Valley, Independence and Monmouth, were and are well served by these two gentle giants. In the metro area, what can I say? Keith Mays of Sherwood, Jason Snyder of Tigard are also going out the door in mayoral leadership, and they will be missed. Jason's community was also well served by John Cook before him. Jeff DeLynn of Cornelius, Ken Gibson of King City, Tim Knapp of Wilsonville, Frank Bubenik of Tualatin, and his predecessor, Lou Ogden. There are those of you who think I talk too much. But I remind you, I am a 5,000-word underdog to Lou Ogden. I do want to mention Rob Drake, who recently retired as city manager in Cornelius. Rob's service to the people of Oregon is well documented, and we owe him a note of gratitude. Steve Calloway of Hillsborough, Lacey Beatty of Beaverton, Terry Lenahan of North Plains. I mention this trio together because of an incident that occurred this summer in Terry's city that allowed the four of us to put aside any differences we may have had and unite in opposition to what we felt was an injustice to Washington County, to the state of Oregon, to the people of the United States of America. The LIV golf tournament came to town at a golf course near North Plains. That tournament was financed in essence by the government of Saudi Arabia, a government that has helped some of its countrymen who have been charged with capital crimes in this country to, in essence, jump bail and flee to the kingdom. This is the same government who orchestrated the killing and dismemberment of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And there are investigations by our government that have linked some of these same Saudi government officials with the events of September 11th, 2001. To make a long story short, one of the proudest days of my life came when the four of us, Terry, Steve, Lacey, and myself, stood side by side with Senator Wyden and protested, if I can use that word, against the golf tournament and the message it was sending to the American people. Sadly, the golf tournament went on as scheduled, but the public conscience had been pricked, and I don't think we have heard the last of this. And this was happening while Terry was also assuming the leadership of the Oregon Mayors Association, so her plate was a little fuller than usual. And with Steve Calloway as president of the LOC for the upcoming year, he and Terry will have the advantage of being geographically close to coordinate the activities of both of these important organizations as we move through a particularly interesting time. I want to share a particular remembrance of a woman who impacted me in my service as mayor. She advised me to seek a position on the board and the organization. She advised me to run for the office of treasurer, which at the time put me in line to ultimately be your president. And I realized all through that if you didn't do what Shirley Calcoven wanted you to do, you took your life in your hands. I remember the elegance of that lady. I remember her wit and counsel. I remember her working the crossword puzzle in the boardroom at the office, at the league office, which is named in her memory. It's a mark of the esteem in which she is held. The last person I want to thank is seated at our table. And it is our table because Pat and I excuse me, because Pat and I have been on this journey of service together. Puberty hit me hard, I apologize. For well over 50 years. My wife has supported me, put up with some of the stupid things I have said and done, and there are more than a few times she's offered subtle advice, and sometimes not so subtle, about other things I've wanted to do, which might have been even more stupid than those things I actually did. Thank you, dear. If you will forgive me and allow me one last comment, and since I have the mic, I'm going to do it. When I was president in 2015, I had the honor to speak in this room at this banquet. That night, I paused to remember Dave Frohnmeyer, Gretchen Kafori, and Shirley Kalkoven again, all who had died earlier that year. I mentioned that these three people had the Oregon spirit. I closed that evening with the words of one of my favorite poems by Britisher Stephen Spender. And the poem is entitled, I Think Continually of Those Who Were Truly Great. I think continually of those who were truly great, who from the womb remembered the soul's history through corridors of light, where the hours are suns, endless in singing, whose lovely ambition was that their lips still touched with fire, should tell of the spirit clothed from head to foot in song, and who hoarded from the spring branches the desires falling across their bodies like blossoms. What is precious is never to forget the essential delight of the blood drawn from ageless springs, breaking through rocks in worlds before our earth, never to deny its pleasures in the morning simple light, nor its grave evening demand for love. Never to allow gradually the traffic to smother with noise and fog the flowering of the spirit. Near the snow, near the sun, in the highest fields, see how the names are fated by the waving grass and by the streamers of white cloud and whispers of wind in the listening sky. The names of those who in their lives fought for life, who wore at their hearts the fire center. Born of the sun, they traveled a short while toward the sun and left the world and vivid air signed with their honor. May you all fly a short while toward the sun. May you all leave the vivid air signed with your honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Truax, for your service and that eloquent speech. All right, our final award for this evening is the Mark O. Hatfield Statesmanship Award. And to present this award, would you please welcome a former longtime mayor of the city of Pendleton and past president of the LOC 2017 recipient of the Hatfield Award, the Honorable Phil Houck.
Let her buck. I tell you, I really have missed a lot of you folks. It's been fun to get around and see everyone. It's, it was something that was really special to me for all the things that I've done. It's the people across the state that really care about their communities, and you've all done that. In Pendleton, it's been nice because when you leave, it's always nice when you know you have a great mayor, as in John Turner, excellent city manager, and Rob Corbett, and then our city council. If you'd please stand up and give them a round of applause. Also, too, I am bearing gifts. And I really think that, our president of the League of Oregon Cities is doing a wonderful job. So I think she needs a little bit of whiskey. So,
It just keeps coming.
also, Patty Mulvihill, isn't she doing a great job? Go here, Patty. Our Herman Carley Award winners, if you'd both come forward, Mark and Peggy, I got a bottle for you. Here's a bottle at midnight. Thank you for your service. Peggy. Thank you for your service. And then the James Richards Award. If you would please come forward, Pete. I've got a limited edition bottle here, and this is the Champions Edition. So with that, thank you, President Browning. The Marco Hatfield Statesmanship Award was established in appreciation of U.S. Senator Mark Hatfield for his outstanding career in public service. It recognizes the lifetime achievements of statewide impact by some well-known to the citizens of Oregon. Mark Hatfield began his political career in 1950 as a member of the Oregon legislature, and after 2 terms in the House of Representatives and 2 years in the Senate, he became the youngest Secretary of State in Oregon history in 1956 at the age of 34. He was elected governor in 1958 and re-elected in 1962. Hatfield was elected to the U.S. Senate in 1966 and became the longest-serving senator from Oregon in 1993 when he retired in 1997. He was the second-ranked Republican and the 7th in seniority out of 100 in the full Senate. Mark Hatfield never lost an election and was known as an independent legislator who voted his conscience, for which he earned bipartisan respect from his colleagues. The Hatfield Award is presented to a deserving statesman who has provided lasting benefits to the quality of life of Oregon citizens. Applicants must be held in high esteem by the public due to their unselfish devotion to the call of public service. It is my pleasure to present the Marco Hatfield Statesmanship Award to Mayor George Endicott from the city of Redmond. And before George comes up here, I'd like to, we want to watch the video, and you can stay back there so you can actually watch the video.
A native of Central Oregon, Mayor Endicott's service career began in 1969 when he joined the Army and served in Vietnam, Okinawa, and Fort Hood, Texas. Following military service, he earned his degree from OSU, then worked as a civilian contractor for the Army, Navy, and Office of the Secretary of Defense. In 2003, Mayor Endicott retired after nearly 40 years of federal service and returned home. Soon after, he was serving on the Redmond Planning Commission, then was elected to City Council in 2007. He was elected mayor in 2009 and has served a remarkable 7 consecutive terms. As mayor, he's led numerous successful projects, including transforming the former Redmond Union High School into the current Redmond City Hall, building Centennial Park, completion of the Redmond Reroute, creating the city's Art in Public Places Committee, establishing 2 new wells and reservoirs, the reconstruction of the main streets and roads into, out of, and around Redmond, and construction and reconstruction of most of the city's playgrounds. During his time as mayor, he's also served as president of the League of Oregon Cities and the Oregon Mayors Association, earning the esteem of his colleagues as recipient of the James C. Richards Award and the Mayor's Leadership Award. Mayor Endicott has chaired the Central Oregon Cities Organization, the LOC's Community Development Committee, and was appointed by the governor in 2019 to serve on the Regional Solutions Team for Central Oregon. As an advocate for cities, Mayor Endicott has literally gone the extra mile, driving to all corners of the state for meetings and regularly to Salem to testify on bills. A leader for diversity and equity across Oregon, Mayor Endicott has never wavered in his commitment to bringing people together, getting things done, and always staying true to his personal values. Congratulations to Mayor George Endicott, City of Redmond, winner of the Mark O. Hatfield Statesmanship Award.
Hi, Commissioner Patty Adair, Deschutes County, just wanting to congratulate Mayor George Endicott for receiving the Mark Hatfield Award. No one is more worthy and deserving of the award. Congratulations, George.
Without your vision, your mentorship, your friendship, and your leadership, the door to the league would not have been open to leaders of color, women, and LGBTQ to become part of the League of Oregon Cities family. For that, we will be eternally grateful. Thank you, George.
Mayor, it's been one of the pleasures of my life working as your city manager for 10 of your 14 years as mayor. We got a lot of stuff done, and congratulations on receiving this incredible honor.
George, it's Betsy Johnson. As a former recipient of the prestigious award that you're getting tonight, I'm especially sad not to be with you. I just wanted to congratulate the hometown Redmond boy. You have done wonderful things for the city where I grew up. I think Oregon is proud of you, Redmond is proud of you, and this is an incredibly well-deserved honor. Good luck tonight. With affection, Betsy.
Congratulations, George, on 14 years of hard work resulting in this much-deserved award. Good luck to you in your future.
George, congratulations on the Mark Hatfield Statesmanship Award. I met you in 2013, which was my first year as mayor, and being the president of the League of Oregon Cities, you were welcoming and a great role model. And then you preceded me in 2017 as the president of the Oregon Mayors Association, which taught me how to communicate and deal with so many different opinions of leaders. Your 14 years as mayor of Redmond and 2 years before that as councilor really shows your dedication to your hometown. You've worked tirelessly to improve the rural-urban divide within Oregon. Congratulations again. A very well-deserved award for all your years of public service.
Congratulations, George. Really proud of you. Thanks for your long service in Redmond, and I know Mark Hatfield would be proud.
And George, I just wanted to start out with my bearing of gifts. I got you a bottle of whiskey.
Don't drink it all in one place.
Actually, he likes rye whiskey, so I'm going to give you a bottle of rye whiskey.
All right.
So, we still have a little bit more to go. Okay, Mayor Endicott is well-versed in the art of government with exemplary service affecting the citizens of Oregon and our country. Mayor Endicott is a smart, positive, dependable, and proven honest leader who brings citizens together to resolve complicated issues throughout the state. Mayor Endicott has never lost a public election. However, he did feel the pain of a loss after he was first elected to office and decided to apply to the LOC Board of Directors. While I happen to be the chair of the LOC Nominations Committee, that year George Endicott was not selected. You need to understand, George's family and my family have known each other for about the past 100 years or so in the Redmond, Prineville, and Bend areas. Now, Mayor Endicott could have easily been very upset with me and complained to everyone about it, but instead he spoke to me in a very kind manner. He asked why and how he could better be prepared to be considered for the future LOC appointment. On the why, George remembers me saying, "What the hell have you done, George?" Back then, getting on the LOC board was very competitive, with many city leaders wanting to get involved, and it was very important to be sure that the whole state was represented. We both remember that I told George to get on a couple of LOC committees and make sure this is something that he wanted to do. He did so and was appointed to the LOC board in the next go-round. Another example of statesmanship is when I invited Mayor Endicott and then Mayor Clark of Sherwood to be our guests at the Pendleton Roundup. They soon found out that I had great box seats for them, but that I had planned to work serving meals to our volunteers and rodeo sponsors instead of sitting with them. They both asked what they could do to help out. For the next 4 years, I had them serving meals and missing most of the rodeo. Mayor Endicott has high moral standards and demonstrates personal character and respects all citizens of Oregon. He does not waver from his personal convictions, and he certainly loves his wife. And serving with him on a few committees in the past, I have found that he studies the issues before him. He takes input from all and works hard to represent our state's interests in a positive and lasting way. He provides everyone with the time and the respect needed to get to the best outcome through consensus building, something that is an art in and of itself. George, it has been an honor working on this award nomination, my friend. You are a real statesman. Congratulations, and now you have a plaque to prove it.
You know, you heard from Pete Truax a few minutes ago, and that he and I, don't always see eye to eye. I mean, we certainly love and respect each other. But, there's been a little bit of one-upmanship. And so I was watching Pete, and he had about 18 pages. And I think I'll try and do one better. So I have one page. But having said that, in all seriousness, what Pete said is what matters, and so I don't have to repeat all the things he said. Certainly, I'm not married to Pat for 50 years, and I wasn't a school teacher, but a lot of the things that Pete said and the way that we act, I won't repeat. Unfortunately, I don't have to. So thank you, Pete. Okay, those of you who know me will be shocked by this statement. I'm speechless. And some of you know that never happens. But seriously, I am both surprised and humbled by this honor. I did hear about it last week, but you try and wrap your head around something like this, as prestigious as it is. I know that many people have played a role in this award. Many are here. Former Mayor Phil Houck, one of my best friends, and I will say mentor. Chrisanna, the love of my life. The kids are here tonight, Elena and Declan. Thank you for coming all the way over. They're college students, and they actually, I don't know if they're playing hooky, but they certainly drove over here from the valley, Corvallis and McMinnville, so they could be here tonight. So thank you guys for coming. John Cook and Greg Evans are here. There are many others who also influenced my commitment to Oregon. John McCardle and Pete Truax come to mind. I can't name everyone who's played a role, but those of you who did contribute, my heartfelt thanks. The list of those who supported this award shows the impact that I must have had on public service, hence my comment about being humbled by this honor. When I look at those who preceded me in receiving this award, I find myself in rarefied company. I'm actually the 10th recipient of this award, and it's not given often, and I really appreciate it. Phil's here tonight. We just saw Betsy in a video, and Shirley is certainly here in spirit. I know this is a rare honor, and I thank the League for it. I wish my parents were here to see this. They shaped me into the person I am today, and I say they deserve the most credit for who I am. They were here when I received the James C. Richards Award, and they were so proud. I miss them every day. You know, as you move through life, and in this case, my elected life, you just do those things that you think are the right things to do. I've been involved in civic service for decades. Not only my federal government service and my military time, but my commitment to local government. That led me to realize that we are all in this together. By that, I mean working with your local partners, your regional partners, and your state partners, and when needed, your federal partners. Such partnerships came to me naturally, and I guess that's led me to why I'm here today. I could go on forever, but I won't. I know I'm also standing between you and a nice reception in a few minutes. I will close by saying that this honor belongs to the Redmond City Councils over the years, the city manager, Keith Witkowski, and his staff who's in the room tonight. And would they please stand? Anyone here from Redmond, please? Thank you all. And I'm going to do a shout out for Heather Casaro too, sitting here. She makes my life great when I have to do things like give speeches. Actually, I wrote this one myself. But when I do the State of the City, she's there putting it together for me, and we work hand in glove on all of the public information things that we have to do. So thank you, Heather. So to my local and regional partners, I want to thank you all for this award, and I find it to be a most prestigious honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, the whiskey. Okay. Excellent. Congratulations. Thank you. I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight, and remember that we will be back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for the networking breakfast, followed by our closing keynote speaker, Senator Ron Wyden, and we'll wrap up the conference with our annual business meeting. Now I would like to invite you to the delicious dessert and other opportunities and networking after this here, the President's Reception, a time-honored tradition here at the LOC conference. So I would also like to announce the winner of the drink name contest, which was Sarah Cook. And where's Sarah? Are you here? Right there. I owe you a drink. She came up with the name of, what the name again was? Spicy Prez with a twist. And so it is a blood orange puree with habanero, simple, and spicy salt. So that will be in the back of the room as part of the reception. So please join us. We will also be recognizing and talking about some of our retired Green folks. So join us then. I had a great poem, but Pete stole it. So I'm just going to close with thanks for coming and join us for the reception.